What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh. This is Overlanding Now, and today I'm pretty excited to sit here and talk with you guys about the brand new Nitto Nomad Grappler SUV/CUV crossover tire. I want to say this up front because I think it's important for us to be on the same page and to not have, pretty much for full transparency. Nitto sent me these tires. But that does not impact what I have to say about these tires. They were nice enough to offer me an opportunity to test them out for a while. If you know, we just got back from a month-long trip, but I could not put these tires on for that month-long trip because they were under embargo and I wouldn't have been able to take pictures and post them on Instagram. So it was a whole thing, but I got home and the very next day, right after I got home, I put them on. So what I want to talk about today is the Nomad Grappler and how it stacks up to a couple of other tires, the Yokohama Geolander, as well as the BFG KO2. And all of that kind of flows into who's this tire for. Everybody has and uses their vehicle for a completely different purpose. Not everybody does what I do with my vehicle, and that's fine, but there needs to be some space in the market for other people to kind of hop in so you don't have to go so aggressive. And I think that is where this Nitto Nomad Grappler really honed in on. We're going to talk about gas mileage between the different tires. We're going to talk about the weight between the different tires. I'm going to give you as much information as I can about the Nomad Grappler so you guys can, be informed and make a decision when it comes time for you to decide if you want to go with something bigger or something more aggressive from the factory Yokohama Geolanders that come on the Outback Wilderness. And if you're new here, the Outback Wilderness has kind of a new addition to our vehicle lineup, and there is a whole playlist of videos that you can visit, and I'll put those up here if you'd like to learn more about the Wilderness, about its capabilities. I've done tow tests, I've done, all kinds of different things to try to provide as much information as I can for people like you. Also, there are a whole host of affiliate links in the description below. The reason I put those in there, yes, we make a small commission for those, but it is all the gear that I use, all the camera gear that I use. I get asked these questions a lot. I don't mind answering them, but everything is right down below, so it'll just make your life easier and allow you to find what you're looking for maybe a little bit quicker. All that being said, let's hop in, let's talk about the Nomad Grappler, and I want to give you a bunch of specs, information, and details so you can make a decision when it comes time to purchase a brand new set of rubber. Okay, so the Nitto Nomad Grappler is specifically designed for the CUV and the SUV market. So they are definitely going after a portion of the consumers that right now doesn't really have a ton of options. I guess we have basically the Yokohama Geolander, and I know there's plenty more, but the point I'm making is you have a very mostly road-oriented tire all the way up to a very serious BFG KO2, a Falcon Wild Peak AT3. So there's really nothing dead in the center, and I think that's where Nitto was going with this. This is something that is dead in the center of both of those two different ends of the spectrum. Now, it has a full silica compound for decreased braking, so that is supposed to help with your ability to brake faster. I have not had the tires in any type of situation where I've done a brake test. I didn't even think about doing that, to be honest with you, but I have driven on them for about 206 miles. We just got back from a recent trip and we were gone for a month, but I could not put these tires on the vehicle prior to leaving. And the reason is because I wasn't able to take pictures. I wasn't able to post pictures of the vehicle online and on Instagram. So I didn't want to throw them on and then not be able to, make content or share content. So I put them on right when I got back, and 206 miles, I'm so far so good. They are much quieter than the BFG KO2s. I don't even remember driving on the Geolanders. It was just so new, like right when I got the car, I just switched them out, so I can't really compare to that. But like I said, I'm used to Jeep on 37s, so this is like, for me, road noise is a much different thing than it is for most people. In terms of sizing, they have 25 different sizes available today. And there's going to be many more coming in 2022. So if you are getting to the point to where you're looking for a new tire for any vehicle that you drive, all the way down from the Jeep Renegades up to the Ford Broncos and the Jeep Wranglers, this tire fits all of those vehicles currently, and they will be making more as time goes on. Now, the 17 inches up to 20 inches is how big they are. So you can get a tire for a 17-inch wheel all the way up to a 20-inch wheel. And that pretty much covers a huge range of the market. So for me, I've always kind of driven on BFGs, and that's not to say Nitto isn't good. I had a pair of Nitto Ridge grapplers on my Ford Raptor like 3 years ago, and they were great. I just never went back and got another pair. My father-in-law had them on his Jeep Wrangler. They were great. So everyone has like their own experience. I just haven't really dipped into this market too much with Nitto, with the exception of that one time on my Ford Raptor. Now they do have a 60,000 mile warranty. So they are comparable with all of the other tire companies, and a 60,000 mile warranty is a super good warranty. So that's basically telling you you can expect to get 60,000 miles out of a set of the Nitto Nomad Grapplers. Now, they are rated for the severe winter driving. I think they have that 3 snowflake thing. I don't know. Most people think that that's ridiculous. But either way, they are rated for severe driving. So this tire, and I don't know if I've already said this, is perfect for that middle of the road consumer. And I think that's where a lot of people are, because I get a lot of questions about my BFG KO2s and are they loud? How's the gas mileage? And that's the stuff I want to talk about now. Is I have really documented pretty much as I can about every different step the Outback Wilderness has gone through. That way I can provide this information, and when I have opportunities to share it, I share it. So what I want to talk about now is the comparison between the Yokohama Geolander, the BFG KO2, as well as the Nomad Grappler from Nitto. Now, the first part of the comparison that I want to do, I'm going to have to pick the camera up because I want you to see the tread pattern. I want you to be able to see the difference with them right beside each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the camera, I'm going to move the tires to where I'm at, and I'm going to switch that microphone around so I can kind of talk through the different tread patterns, and you guys can see exactly how different they are and where they may be similar. Okay, starting from the left, you have the Yokohama Geolander, you have the Nitto Nomad Grappler, and on the far right, you have the BFG KO2. So when I say that this is a tire that fits square in the middle, I genuinely mean it. If you look on the left and you see the Yokohama tread pattern, and then you look in the middle and you have a look at the Nomad Grappler tread pattern, you can see how similar they are. Then you make the huge jump over to the BFG KO2 all the way over here on the right, and you can see the difference in the meat of the tire. So you're going to get a much better experience on road with the Nitto Nomad Grappler than you probably will with the BFG KO2, but understanding you may be sacrificing a bit of trail performance. Now, I can't speak to that yet because I have not had these tires in any type of trail situations, but I wanted you to get a chance to see how they stack up to each other and why I think this tire is the perfect middle of the road tire for anybody who does not want to make the big jump up to the KO2s, but is not happy with what they're receiving with the Yokohama Geolanders. Another thing to note is the difference in the sidewall protection. So on the Nomad Grappler, you can see a much more aggressive sidewall pattern than you do on the Yokohama Geolander. And then if you go all the way over to the KO2, you can tell, again, it has even meatier sidewall protection. Now, I don't know if that is going to make a huge difference when you're off-road or when you're up against rocks, because the Nitto Nomad Grappler has a significant amount of sidewall protection. So I would say, I feel comfortable in saying that the Nitto Nomad Grappler is probably as aggressive of a sidewall as the BFG KO2, and it obviously blows the Geolander out of the water. But the reason I think that that's important is because you're going to get a lot of on-road manners, and you're going to get a great amount of off-road manners as well. And to be honest, most people drive their vehicle on the road 90% of the time, so it may benefit you to have a pair of the Nitto Nomad Grapplers over a pair of BFG KO2s. All right, so I'm gonna have to look at my phone because there's a lot of information here, and I apologize for that, but I want to make sure that I give you this information as good as I can. So from a comparison standpoint, the Nomad Grappler is 34.26 pounds each tire. Now the Yokohama Geolander is 29.8 pounds, okay? So that's a huge gap. Now, the BFG KO2 is 44.1 pounds, so it's even heavier still. So you can tell that when I say they're kind of positioned in the middle of the market, they literally are positioned in the middle of the market. That's why I think these Nomad Grapplers from Nitto are going to be a huge tire for them, because this is that middle of the road that I think everyone is looking for, but nobody can seem to find. You have, you know, so many options on the really aggressive side, and then you have tons of options on just like the street tire, you know, all season, all weather tire. But this is something that fits directly in the middle of both of them. Now, if we want to talk about the warranty, like I mentioned already, the Nomad Grappler has a 60,000 mile warranty. The BFG KO2 has a 50,000 mile warranty, and the Geolander has a 60,000 mile warranty. So it's all relatively the same. You're not really getting much more from either way that you go, but it's something to take into consideration if you do plan on having these tires for a significant period of time. Now, the gas mileage. This one's interesting. So I've had the Nitto Nomad Grapplers on the Outback Wilderness for 206 miles. And for 206 miles, we are getting 19.8 miles per gallon. That's city, that's highway, no towing. We haven't put any more weight in it. It's completely empty. It does not have the spare in the back, but it does have my tools and our compressor in the spot where the spare tire goes. Now, the gas mileage on the BFG KO2s was 19.8 as well. So I expected, based on the BFG KO2 being heavier, that they would get better or worse gas mileage than the Nomad Grapplers. Now, because they are bigger tires, they take more force to spin them, and all of that's fine, but I just assumed with more weight, you're gonna see some type of decrease in gas mileage, and so far we haven't seen any, which is, I don't know if that's good for BF Goodrich or good for Nitto, I don't really know. But your Yokohama Geolanders, they get 22.5 miles to the gallon over like 700 miles. So, granted, it's a smaller tire, less rotational force. It doesn't take as much to push that tire. They have a much lighter weight, and their tread pattern is less aggressive. So I expected that to get much better gas mileage, but that's where we're at on the gas mileage. Now, the price range. I don't know what the price of the Nomad Grappler is going to be. They did not share any of that information with us. They just kind of gave them to us and said, hey, drive on them, take pictures of them, let us know what you think. So I don't know the price, but what I can tell you is the BFG KO2, I was looking this morning, they're ranging from $165 to $200 and in the 245, 65, 17 tire size. So that's what we're looking at for those. Now, I was also surprised, the Geolanders price range this morning was $180 to $215. I don't know why they would be more expensive. I mean, a lot of people say those tires are so good. I just don't trust them. I just don't trust the Geolanders. Don't trust them. So with all of this information, having a chance to drive on the Nomad Grappler for the 200 miles that we've driven has been fantastic. They're quiet. And I think, like I said before, they are literally the perfect in the middle, in between tire from a Yokohama Geolander type tire and a BF Goodrich KO2 Falcon Wild Peak AT3. Those tires on the upper, more aggressive end, this fits directly in the middle. So who is this tire for? I think this tire is for anybody who wants more than the Geolander, but doesn't want to go all the way up to the KO2. I understand that's a really big jump. For me, I want the most aggressive tire I can get that still provides me a good road experience. And so far the BFG KO2s have done that for me, but after having these Nomad Grapplers on the Outback Wilderness, I'm really excited to take them and test them and put them through real life off-road situations like we did with the BFG KO2s. I have been asked a couple of times, would the Geolanders have made it through our trip? And the question is no, I don't believe so. That I would imagine that I would have been changing at least one tire. I push the Wilderness probably harder than most people does because I want to be able to sit here and tell you I have done these things and I was successful in them or I wasn't successful in them, and here's why I think that is. Because everybody, I got a lot of flack for getting this vehicle, which, it's super capable, and if you're a decent driver, you have a good spotter, and you know what you're doing, you can get anywhere you want to go pretty much. Now, there are some limitations, obviously, but that's not what we're talking about. So I'm excited to get the Nomad Grappler out in the dirt, out in the mud, out in the snow, and out on some rocks, and see how hard I can push this tire to give you guys an honest review from that perspective. But for the first 206 miles on the street, they have been absolutely fantastic. We got a lot of rain recently. We did get a little bit of snow, but nothing of any significance. And so far, so good. The tires have performed fantastic. I expected them to, but that's where I'm at right now with the Nitto Nomad Grappler. Now, if you guys have questions, and as I get information, after this launch, I'll probably receive more information that I'd be happy to share with you guys in terms of price, when they're available and all of that stuff. But in order to get that, you guys would have to subscribe to the channel so you could come along for that stuff, and I would greatly appreciate it if you did. If you guys found this video helpful in any way, not just some guy rambling, looking off, trying to remember what he was trying to say, hit the like button so you could, so it helps us. Helps us help you, I guess. I don't know, that was just me being over dramatic. But we appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.